Mishpatim. Mishpatim talks all about the Torah laws that Hashem gave us. Right, last week's parasha was Parashat Yitro. What happened in Parashat Yitro, kids? Who remembers? What did Hashem give us in Parashat Yitro? On Har Sinai. Right, the Torah. So, there was a very big tzaddik. That's right. Torah just starts with T. Hi, everyone. My name is Rabbi Akivah, and more than anything, I love to learn Torah. And I love to go around and teach people Torah. One day, Rabbi Akivah was traveling. I traveled on my donkey, and I had to travel a long way. I took with me a donkey to ride on. E-oh. What sound does donkey make? Who can make donkey sounds? Excellent. And Rabbi Akivah also took a rooster. What sound does the rooster make? Roosters, children, are very special. Hashem gives them the knowledge to know exactly when it's midnight and they start to crow. They go cock-a-doodle-doo. When it's a certain time in the middle of the night, they could tell the difference. Now, children, there is a minhag for big tzaddikim to wake up what's called in the middle of the night. It's called Tikkun Chatzot, and daven that Hashem should rebuild for us the Bet HaMikdash. So, Rabbi Akivah, it was very important for him to have the rooster, because the rooster would wake him up in the middle of the night, right when it's Chatzot. Chatzot is kind of middle of the night when it's turning to day, turning to morning. And to daven the Tikkun Chatzot, which is to daven to Hashem that He should rebuild for us the Bet HaMikdash. And of course, Rabbi Akivah was very careful to take with himself some candlelight. In those days, there was no electricity. And if Rabbi Akivah wanted to daven for the Bet HaMikdash in the middle of the night, he needed to have light when it's dark. So he took with him a candle. I'm sorry, what did you ask, Yonatan? I couldn't hear you, honey.
He's big?
Who's big? Rabbi Akivah? Rabbi Akivah? Yeah, he was an adult. He was a big rabbi already. Traveled on his own. And children, he traveled the whole day. Let's just listen nicely. He traveled the entire day. And he traveled all the way to the north of Israel till he came to a city by the seashore. A city that's very close to the sea. And it's called Akko. Akko still stands today. In those days, children, in Akko, you didn't have many Jews living at all. It wasn't really a Jewish city. And it wasn't, they had mostly non-Jews. The problem was, it became nighttime. And Rabbi Akivah was worried. He said, when it's dark and it's night, I really can't travel. I can't tell in which direction to go, and I might get incredibly lost. It's also unsafe. There are a lot of wild animals out at the nighttime. So I better find a place to stay. Now, children, in those days, not every city had a hotel. Instead, you would knock on people's houses and you would ask permission to stay at their home, and you'd pay money. People would let other people stay in their home. But in that city, children, the people were not very friendly, and they didn't keep the mitzvah of Achnasat Orchim. Well, Rabbi Akivah came to the first house he found. It was big and bright and rich, and all the lights were on, and he was quite sure that they'd have room for him. So he knocked on the door, and a man came and he opened the door, and he goes, "Oh, what is it? Who's troubling me after nightfall?" "Oh, I'm terribly sorry to trouble you. Truly, I'm dreadfully sorry, but it's late, it's dark, and it's cold, and I can't see the direction of the road properly. Please, may I stay in your house tonight? I'd be more than happy to pay you." "Oh, what do you think this is? Some hotel? Oh, absolutely not. You may not stay in my house. Get out." The man was incredibly rude and very unpleasant. So Rabbi Akivah didn't get upset. He said a very famous pasuk. You know, we all know Rabbi Akivah for saying the pasuk, "Ve'ahavta lerecha." But Rabbi Akivah is known for another pasuk also. And the pasuk is, Kol ma de'avid hakadosh baruch hu letava avid. Whatever Hashem does is for the best. And Rabbi Akivah said, I'm not going to get upset. If Hashem didn't want me to stay in that house, there has to be a good reason. Everything that happens is from Hashem. So that's okay. I'll go find another house. Hanalei, I'm so sorry to trouble, darling. Do you mind shutting the door? I'm so sorry. Just the nursery's a bit loud. So Rabbi Akivah found another house. It was a little cottage. And later on, knocked on the door. And a lady opened the door. What is it? Why do I have somebody knocking at my door after nightfall? Oh, I'm most dreadfully sorry to trouble you, madam, but I'm stuck. It's cold and not so safe to be outside. Please, may I stay in your home? I'll be more than happy to pay you very well. Oh, absolutely not. I don't let anybody stay in my house. You better go find somewhere else. Goodbye. And she wouldn't let Rabbi Akivah in. Rabbi Akivah said, Kol ma de'avid HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'tava avid. Whatever Hashem does is for the best. Everything happens from Hashem. And if Hashem doesn't want me to stay in her house, there has to be a good reason. Rabbi Akivah kept knocking on all the different doors, children, but everybody gave the same answer. Oh, I can't. My cousin's sister's friend, uncle's nephew is staying in my home, and I can't have anybody at my house. Oh, no, you can't stay with me. And children, Rabbi Akivah went to the entire village. Nobody would let him in. So he said, Kol ma de'avid, HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'tava avid. Whatever Hashem does is for the best. And Rabbi Akivah went and he stayed outside in the forest. Now it was very dark in the forest, but remember, what did Rabbi Akivah take with him? A nice strong candle. So he lit a candle and there was a bright light shining in the forest now in the dark. And Rabbi Akivah was able to see. The first thing Rabbi Akivah did, children, is the halacha is, Torah teaches us, if you own an animal, before you eat yourself, you have to feed your animals. That's what Torah teaches us. So, Rabbi Akivah, the first thing he did is he got some hay and he fed his donkey. And the donkey was so happy and he gobbled up and he ate up all the hay. And then he took some seeds and he fed his rooster. And the rooster ate up all of the seeds. And after he finished feeding his animals, only then did he wash his hands, betilat yadayim, and wash for bread, and sit down to eat his meal. And when he was done with his meal, Rabbi Akivah sat down to learn Torah by the light of the candle. He took out his scrolls. In those days, they didn't have books, they had scrolls, which Laura doesn't have here. But either way, he took his scrolls and he sat down to learn Torah by the light of the candle. All of a sudden, quite unexpectedly, out of the blue, Rabbi Akivah heard the most ferocious sound. A massive, scary lion came. What sound does a lion make? Let me hear the lion some more. And the lion came. Now, of course, children, lions like to eat meat. And they don't care. They run after real live animals and catch them. And a donkey would be the kind of meat that the lion would love to eat. So as soon as the donkey heard the lion, immediately the donkey ran away. And the donkey ran away. And the lion chased after him. So before Rabbi Akivah knew what's what, the donkey was gone. The lion got rid of the donkey. And now Rabbi Akivah had no form of transportation, no way to travel. He'd have to go by foot. He didn't have his donkey anymore. But of course, Rabbi Akivah said, Kol ma de'avid HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'tava avid. Whatever Hashem does is for the best, is for good. Everything happens from Hashem. And he continued to learn by the light of a candle. All of a sudden, only a couple of minutes passed when, quite out of the blue, a ferocious cat came, children. A wild cat. Now, they're not the kind of cats that you see like your neighbors have or we have as pets. This cat, children, was a wild cat. And wild cats also like to eat. Good job, Yonatan. You remember the story. That's all right. We can hear a story again, even if we know it.
I saw that.
Right. Oh, yeah. The cats like to eat. What do they like to eat? Chickens. And the cat started meowing. Meow! Meow! Let me hear the cat really loud. Let me hear you say make the cat sound. Can you And of course the rooster started to crow. Cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo. And the cat chased off the rooster. And Rabbi Akivah called back for the rooster. Come back, come back.
The cats like to eat mouse.
They do like to eat mice, but you know what? Wild cats also like to eat roosters. And now the rooster was gone too. And Rabbi Akivah said, Oy vey, I needed my rooster to wake me up in the middle of the night to daven tikkun chatzot and daven for the Bet HaMikdash to be built again. But this is what Hashem wanted. Hashem made it happen. Kol ma de'avid HaKadosh Baruch Hu letava avid. Whatever Hashem does is for the best. And Rabbi Akivah did not get upset. Can you imagine, children? Now the two things he has with him that he really needs were gone. And some people could stomp their feet and say, oh, it's not fair. I can't believe I lost the things I need. But Rabbi Akivah didn't say that. He understood that whatever happens, Hashem makes it happen. And Hashem loves us. And Hashem takes very good care of us. And if Hashem made it happen, there's a good reason for it, whether we see the reason or not. Well, children, all of a sudden, a very strong wind came, kids. And the wind started to blow. And within seconds, the candle, children, blew out. There was no more light. And now poor Rabbi Akivah was plunged into darkness. He couldn't see anything. Everything was pitch black. And much as he would try to relight the candle, it wouldn't light. And now Rabbi Akivah couldn't see anything, but he couldn't see anything, but nobody could see him either. So Rabbi Akivah again did not get upset. He said, Kol ma de'avid HaKadosh Baruch Hu letava avid. Children, suddenly Rabbi Akivah looked out into the sea, and in the darkness of the sea, because remember I told you, Akko, you're right, Akko is a seaport. Akko is a city right by the sea. And children coming off the boat, oh, Mara lost the picture of the boat, okay, never mind, came pirates, Yaladim, wild vicious pirates. And these pirates had the habit to come to cities right near the sea. They'd dock by the sea, and then they would go to the houses that are close to the seaport, and they would burn down the houses. They would steal everything in the houses. They would take all the treasures away. And then, children, to make matters worse, they would take all the people as slaves. And they would tell them, you have to come with us right now, and you have to become our slaves. Now, all of a sudden, Rabbi Akivah heard a huge commotion. People were screaming and crying, and there was a massive fire coming from the village. And he looked at the village. He says, Oy vey, Rahman wa Tzalan. Hashem, save me, please. I can't believe it. All of the pirates are going into one house after the other, into each of the houses that I wanted to stay in. See, Rabbi Akivah had knocked on all the houses, remember? He went from house to house and he knocked. And he said, oh, Baruch Hashem, thank God that I did not stay in the houses. If I would have stayed in the houses, who would have found Rabbi Akivah? Who would have found Rabbi Akivah in the houses if he was staying? Right. But now Rabbi Akivah wasn't in the houses. All the other people got taken as slaves, children. All their things got stolen. And all of them were put into chains and got taken as slaves. But not Rabbi Akivah. And then, Yaladim, the pirates walked right past the part in the forest where Rabbi Akivah was staying. But because his candle blew out, there was no more light in the forest, and they couldn't see him. Imagine, had the candle still been lit, they would have seen the light, and they would have said, hey, what's that light in the forest? Let's go check it out. And you know what would have happened? They would have found Rabbi Akivah. But now that Hashem made a big wind and blew out the candles, the pirates couldn't see Rabbi Akivah. And they walked right past where Rabbi Akivah was, and they didn't see him. And also, Yaladim, they didn't hear him. Had Rabbi Akivah still had his donkey and his rooster, the donkey would have started to bray. Donkeys get very scared from like wild people. And so would have the rooster. Remember I told you the rooster in the middle of the night crows? So the donkey would have gone, ee-aw, ee-aw, ee-aw. And the rooster would have gone, cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo. And the pirates would have said, hey, what's that noise in the forest? We hear a donkey in the forest. Let's go steal the donkey. Find out what's going on there. Or they would have heard the rooster and said, why, is there a farm in this forest? Let's go see who's there. But children, now that Rabbi Akivah didn't have his donkey, who chased away the donkey? Do you remember?
Lion.
Right. And what chased away the cat? The rooster. The cat chased. I'm sorry, I gave it away. The cat chased away the rooster. But now Rabbi Akivah was all alone. And the pirates walked right past him. They didn't see him and they did not hear him because he didn't have his donkey or his rooster. And Rabbi Akivah said, truly, Kol ma de avid hakadosh baruch hu letava avid. Whatever Hashem does is for the best. Sometimes we can tell and we can see why it's for the good. And sometimes we can't tell. Sometimes we never know why it was good. But we have to trust and believe and know that Hashem loves us and He takes care of us. And whatever He makes happen is always for our good. And Rabbi Akivah continued to learn Torah and teach people about the Torah and about Hashem, who loves us so much.